Aloha and good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to This Is Now. We begin with some breaking news here in the H&N Digital Center. Police are responding to an apparent barricade situation in Kunia.
Our Annalisa Burgos joins us live now near the scene. Annalisa, what can you tell us?
Hey guys, we are just inside the entrance of Kunia Loa Ridge Farmlands. Now, I've actually never been here before, so just give you a sense of where we are. We are off Kunia Road, just before Hawaii Country Club, and this is an 800-acre farming community. Agriculture lots, basically split up into several lots, different owners, people operating businesses like a doggy daycare, goat farm, produce farms all over. Some people do live on these lots. Now, what we're told is that there is a 22-year-old male suspect that barricaded himself inside one of the homes on one of the lots that is further up this mountain. Now, just to give you a sense of the, again, 800 acres, the huge expanse of this place, we are here where the police have kind of prevented us from coming in just for the safety and just because these roads are so narrow, they don't want to block emergency response. But we are told that it is an active situation. It started at about 8 a.m., staff tell me, where police started diverting traffic. So if you are a farmer who owns a lot here or works on one of the lots here, you will not be allowed onto this particular road. This has been closed till about 8 a.m. and he has been, this police officer that we've been talking to has been diverting traffic. There are people kind of standing by and waiting to see when it will be over, but we don't have that information yet. We don't have any information on the cause or exactly what prompted this situation. This other road in this community is open, so just to let you know that if you do live on the other side, you will be allowed onto your property. But again, no details yet on when it will be open, but again, just making sure that there is SWAT, EMS, all kinds of emergency response standing by and actively investigating and responding to this scene. That's all we have for now. Reporting here in Kunia Road, Annalisa Burgos, back to you guys in the studio.
Annalisa, thank you so much for that live report. We appreciate it.
The Honolulu Medical Examiner has officially released the identities and causes of death for Sunday's murder-suicide in Manoa. Authorities say 46-year-old Paris Oda fatally stabbed his wife and 3 children before killing himself. We want to warn you, the following details are disturbing. Officials say 48-year-old Naoko Oda and 17-year-old Sakurako died from multiple sharp force injuries, while 12-year-old Orion and 10-year-old Nana died from sharp force wounds to the torso. The suspect, Paris Oda, died from stab wounds to the chest. His manner of death has been ruled a suicide. Meanwhile, the Oda family released a statement to the media saying in part, quote, "Our hearts are forever broken, and we are searching for a path that gives us some solace and the hope needed to go forward with our daily lives. At this time, we appreciate the public's understanding of our family's request for privacy. The showing of aloha from friends, colleagues, and community members means more than any of you will ever know."
A man in Nanakuli was critically injured after he was shot with a BB gun. Now, according to HPD, it took place at Nanakuli Village Center after a vehicle struck another vehicle in front of the Longs. At some point, one of the drivers allegedly shot the other. The 41-year-old victim took off, but later crashed near Nanakuli High and Intermediate. At last check, no arrests have been made. An attempted murder investigation is ongoing. And in Mililani, investigators are looking into a cause of a two-alarm house fire in the Mocha area. Flames sparked just before 4:30 yesterday afternoon on Laipu Street. It took about an hour to put out. No injuries were reported. A damage estimate is pending.
In his State of the City address last night, Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi announced a new incentive to help fill the ranks at HPD. Ben Gutierrez has more.
In his fourth State of the City address, Mayor Rick Blangiardi trumpeted the achievements in tackling issues like homelessness and affordable housing, and also looked ahead as he gears up for re-election efforts for a second term. One standout moment, a standing ovation for two police officers injured during the New Year's Day manhunt that ended in Manoa.
Officer Flores and Officer Fatissimano are both with us tonight. Would you please stand and be recognized?
Officers Kekoa Flores and Kalani Fatissimanu were both wounded in a shootout with Sidney Tafukitao, who was then killed by police. As the mayor paid tribute, he also revealed plans to put more resources into fighting crime.
Recent high-profile and really heartbreaking incidents involving gun violence and stabbings, homicides, assaults, drugs, and more have contributed to a very real feeling that this island is not as safe as we need it to be.
Step 1, hiring more police officers. HPD is short by about 400. Starting pay is about $80,000 a year, but still not enough to keep officers from being lured away to the departments on the mainland. To beef up the ranks, the mayor is proposing a $25,000 bonus for new recruits to be paid out over the course of training.
You know, having more patrol officers, as they've recounted to me a number of times, is of paramount importance, and so this is sort of putting your money where your mouth is.
We've lost almost, I think, 10 individuals in the last 2 years to mainland police departments. Many of those have those incentives.
In the crowd, the governor and lieutenant governor and the mayors of Maui and Hawaii counties, all looking to the leader of Hawaii's capital city to see if more officers on the streets ultimately leads to safer neighborhoods.
We want to do everything we can to build the best department we can through a really extensive recruiting effort, and having a tool like this can only help.
Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
Kauai Mayor Derek Kawakami delivered his 6th State of the County address yesterday, and in it, he pledged his support for Maui fire relief.
Here on Kauai, we pride ourselves on our community resilience in the face of disaster. From floods to hurricanes, a global pandemic, we thought we had seen it all. But nothing had prepared us for the sheer devastation that occurred in Kula and the historic town of Lahaina. And we have yet to wrap our heads around the insurmountable loss and the true length of the journey that lies ahead. But Mayor Bisson, please know this. Please know that you will not sail this journey alone.
Mayor Kawakami went on to address hiring challenges on Kauai, especially at the police department. He said the county will provide funding to recruit more applicants for KPD. The county is also putting nearly $13 million towards its housing development fund to not only provide affordable units, but to generate more jobs. Yesterday's address happened at the Lihue Civic Center. And happening tonight, tune in to Hawaii News Now on air and online for the Maui County State of the County address by Maui Mayor Richard Bisson. That begins at 5:30 and goes until 6:30. We'll be streaming it on all digital platforms as well as K5.
On Kauai, a Lauai man has been arrested in connection with a fatal crash in Poipu on January 19th. The two-vehicle crash happened on Poipu Road at around 9:30 p.m. A 69-year-old man died and a 25-year-old woman suffered serious injuries. 42-year-old Keola De Costa was arrested on several charges, including manslaughter, negligent homicide, DUI, resisting arrest, and reckless driving. His bail has been set at $250,000. He's currently being held at KPD's cell block. Meanwhile, the 32-year-old man who died after driving his truck into a tree has been identified as 32-year-old Wiley Yoshioka. It happened at around 10 p.m. last week Friday on Maluhia Road. First responders found the truck on its side. Wiley died at the scene, and his passenger, a 32-year-old Lihue woman, was treated for minor injuries. Speed and impairment appear to be suspected factors in the crash, but the investigation is ongoing.
In national news, following the convictions of his wife and son, James Crumbley was convicted on 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter for the Oxford High School shooting. Jennifer and James Crumbley are the first parents in the nation to be held accountable in a mass shooting committed by a child. As Nick Monticelli tells us, the parents of the victims and the prosecutors say this entire case is about accountability.
This verdict does not bring back their children, but it does mark a moment of accountability and will hopefully be another step to address and end and prevent gun violence.
The guilty verdicts of both Jennifer and now James Crumbley mark a monumental shift, the first time parents of a school shooter have ever been held accountable.
This started with one question: where did he get that gun? Where did he get it? And how did he get it? And that is a question that every single one of us as mothers and fathers asked.
But there was a somber tone from both the Oakland County prosecutor and the parents of the 4 students killed because
accountability is not just a word that we've been throwing around loosely. I mean, it's what we want. It's absolutely necessary.
They're talking about accountability, looking at federal leaders and what they believe gun law changes are necessary.
We can put people on the moon. We can build skyscrapers, huge monuments like the Hoover Dam, and we can't keep our kids safe in schools.
They're also looking for accountability for the leaders of Oxford High and the school district, who they say failed miserably.
There's a lot involved in any school district, and to neglect your responsibilities and not implement the proper policies and not stand up for our kids and be that voice and show them your leadership, and it absolutely has to happen.
So far, the family's lawsuits against school leaders have been blocked, with rulings saying the district has governmental immunity.
It's time to break up that administration country club. And it's time for change. Because we've got 4 kids here dead. And nobody wants to take any accountability.
The one thing, whether they stay or they leave like they should, they know our kids' names. They don't have that luxury to forget them. They're not given that right. Just like the parents today, they don't get a free pass, and neither does the school.
The judge presiding over former President Donald Trump's election interference case in Georgia said it can move forward with District Attorney Fani Willis if the special prosecutor she had a romantic relationship with steps aside. Well, this afternoon he did just that, submitting his resignation. Willie James Inman has more.
Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis will continue to prosecute former President Donald Trump's election interference case in Georgia. The special prosecutor, her former romantic partner Nathan Wade, will be leaving the case. After Judge Scott McAfee ruled only one of them can stay. In his 23-page decision, McAfee said he did not find a clear conflict of interest, but criticized Willis for a tremendous lapse in judgment.
The appearance of impropriety, let alone an actual conflict of interest, is taught to every prosecutor. This is a woman who acted without thinking.
In a statement, former President Donald Trump's attorney disagreed with the judge's decision and vowed to use all legal options available to dismiss the case. 18 others are also charged in the case. 4 have pleaded guilty, including Kenneth Chesborough. His former attorney expects the defendants will appeal.
For all of the defendants in this case, I'm sure it's a sad day because it really just shows that while if they make mistakes, they might get prosecuted for it. If Fani Willis and her team make mistakes, if they lie under oath, if they show bad judgment, there's absolutely no consequences.
The ruling comes days after the judge dismissed 3 of 13 counts against Trump in the indictment. But the case remains intact for now, one of 4 criminal cases the former president faces as he tries to unseat President Biden. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
The standard 6% realtor commission on buying or selling a home has come to an end due to a massive settlement between the National Association of Realtors and home sellers who had sued them for conspiring to keep agent commissions artificially inflated. The NAR, which represents more than 1 million realtors, has agreed to pay $418 million in damages. It's also agreed to new rules, one of which prevents sellers, brokers from setting buyers' agents' compensation. Critics say that practice led brokers to push pricier properties on home buyers. They also say it drove housing prices higher because sellers would pay both their broker and buyer's broker. Sellers who brought the lawsuit argued buyers should be able to negotiate that fee with their agent, and sellers shouldn't be required to pay it. The settlement could create a more competitive housing market. Realtors could now compete on commissions, allowing prospective home buyers to shop around.
Well, today is the big day for the students of Kamehameha School's Kapalama. The 104th annual song contest is happening tonight at the Blaisdell Arena. Our Mahealani Richardson is a co-host for the event and has a preview.
We got a chance to watch the freshmen practice as they wore their class color, Akala, pink. They're led by Kamaha'ohau Meathronis, who wowed the crowd with his Paniolo performance last year. The freshmen will perform one co-ed song, and teachers are helping with last-minute critiques, diction, Olelo Hawaii, and smiling.
The most important, I think, though, is really understanding the words that you're singing, putting the feeling into the mele, and then that comes out through your singing.
Today is all about, I guess, showcasing everything that you learn, a culmination of all of the ike, the Olelo Hawaii that Haumana and Kumu have put together, and it's just now, it's presentation time, it's show time.
All four classes got together in the Blaisdell to practice the group songs. We asked several people how did they do, and everyone said they sound great. They've made huge improvements, and it'll be even better on Friday. Of course, the song contest is all about perpetuating Hawaiian culture, but also it is a competition, and we know that these students, they want to win. Reporting from the Blaisdell, I'm Mahealani Richardson, Hawaii News Now.
So exciting. Mahalo nui mahea. And as a reminder, all of the fun is happening tonight on K5. The pre-show begins at 7 p.m. with the contest to follow. And just listening to those students, it is such a beautiful thing to hear. So I'm so excited to hear the show tonight. They're honoring Bill Ali'iloa Lincoln, one of the influential figures of Hawaiian music. Be sure to tune in tonight on K5. Let's send you live outside for a look at Honolulu. It is a beautiful Aloha Friday. Stay with us. Right after this, we'll have a closer look at your local forecast.
That's a high surf warning all the way from Niihau down to Molokai, and then the north shore of Maui as well. We do have a high surf advisory for the west side of Hawaii Island. Here's the numbers for you. And once again, you want to stay up on the dry sand if you're visiting the islands on the north shore and the west side. Once again, those are big numbers there. Let's go ahead and take a look real quickly here at what you can expect for today. Daytime high going to be about 81 degrees for Kailua Kona. For Honolulu, about 78 degrees. Sunny to partly cloudy skies from Niihau all the way down to about Molokai, but you're going to have the windward side of Maui and the windward side of Hawaii Island. That's going to get some passing showers, and those showers may stick around for a couple of days, so we're watching that carefully. Once again, Maui, Big Island showers, northeasterly winds for most of the state, 10 to 20 miles per hour. Sunny to partly cloudy skies depending on where you are, but you'll notice that the temperatures will be cooler for the next couple of days and more drier conditions once those showers pass by Hawaii Island, and that should happen at least by the end of Sunday. Monday, a little bit lighter winds, and then as we go Tuesday through Thursday, we pick up into some regular trade wind weather. Get the latest on air, online, on your mobile device, and at hawaiinewsnow.com.
In just over 3 weeks, parts of the continental United States will see the sun completely blocked out by the moon. Let's talk about it. This will be the last total eclipse to move across parts of the continental United States until August 23rd, 2044. Total darkness will move across parts of Texas all the way up towards Maine. Here in Hawaii, we're only going to see a partial eclipse, and since we're just over 3 weeks out, we're still outside of the forecasting range for the event, but we can tell you where you can see it. The partial eclipse in Hawaii will be visible to the east-east-northeast, approximately 82 degrees from the north at the beginning of the partial eclipse. The eclipse will begin at 6:33 a.m. on April 8th, 2024, right after sunrise happens that morning at 6:18 a.m. This means that the beginning of the partial eclipse will happen extremely close to the horizon, so it's important that you can see out eastward at the beginning of the day. The maximum partial eclipse will occur at 7:12 a.m. and will look like this. Remember to wear eclipse glasses when viewing it to avoid eye damage. And again, we're still a little bit too far out to have a solid forecast for the morning of April 8th, 2024, but check back often with Hawaii News Now to learn more about this solar event. Reporting in studio, Drew Davis, Hawaii News Now.
Well, the new HGTV show Renovation Aloha is off to a hot start. We caught up with the hosts of the show, husband and wife duo Tristan and Kamohai Kalama, and a bonus, they shared tips for renovating homes here in Hawaii.
Some tips actually for renovating your home: start before a hammer is ever swung at your house.
And these are like the most important ones.
Yes,
honestly. I think a lot of people overlook.
Definitely get overlooked. So, I mean, the first one would be properly vetting your contractor. All contractors aren't made equal. There's amazing ones, and those are the ones you want to work with. So you can do that through two ways: asking for references and actually going through the process of contacting those people. And then the second way is walking current job sites, whether they're current or they're finished, so you can see a finished product and you can also see a current job site. I think that's really, really important, is to properly vet your contractors. The second one is signing proper documentation. So every time we work with a contractor, there needs to be an agreement in place that protects both you as the customer that's paying for renovation and also protects the contractor. And then there's certain things that should be in that agreement, which are timelines, milestones, payment schedules. There's no handshake agreements. And then lastly, I think it's get multiple bids. One is not enough. My dad always taught me you need at least 3 bids when you're doing anything. And the cheapest is probably not the one you should be going with, because the saying is true, you get what you pay for.
I think another one is, and these are things that you can do that are budget friendly, that will add a lot of value to your house, right? I think it's very simple things that don't cost a lot of money that you can ship in from Amazon. And one of them is changing out all your lighting. And so it's a very simple thing that you can do that is cost effective, but makes the biggest impact on a house. The other thing is changing out all your hardware. on your property. So you're not going in and you're getting rid of your cabinets and buying new cabinets. That can be a very expensive process. But if you take all the hardware off and get a nice new modern hardware and put them on, it can literally transform your spaces.
100%. Love me a good drawer pull and a good light fixture. Let me tell you.
Now you can listen to the entire interview on our Island Beat podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also find out more about their show by heading to our website, hawaiinewsnow.com.
All right, time for some good news. Have a look at this gigantic, wait for it, blueberry. So it's about the size of a ping pong ball. The Guinness Book of World Records verified that this monster broke the record for heaviest blueberry. Picked last November in Australia, the blueberry measures just a tad over 1.5 inches, and it weighs 20.4 grams, that's under a pound, demolishing the previous 2020 record of 16.20 grams. Cultivators say when they picked it, there were around 20 other berries about the same size.
Everything. You said Australia it's from?
Australia.
Everything's just next level in Australia.
That's right.
Imagine just biting into that, how juicy it must be.
Well, you would hope so. You would hope it's sweet.
Sweet, yes. Oh, let's end today with one more live look out over beautiful Honolulu. Don't forget, Kamehameha School Song Contest, the 104th annual, happening tonight. Pre-show begins at 7 on K5. Aloha.
Aloha.